Hi, everybody. Well, a recent story just got me to thinking. It got me to thinking about all the crazy things that captains of cruise ships have told me that they've been requested to do. The captains. So, over the years, I've had the great privilege of meeting some wonderful, wonderful people on board cruise ships, all the way from the passengers to the crew members, all the way to the captains of the cruise ships. I've met so many, had conversations, had dinner with many of them, and some of the stories they've shared with me will make you kind of shake your head, right? And one recent story popped into mind that a woman had requested from Carnival Cruise Lines that they wanted the funnel of the cruise ship to do a baby reveal for them, where the engineer on board would put in a blue or pink color smoke to announce to their group that's on board to celebrate that they're having a boy or a girl, and it would come out of the funnel of the cruise ship. Now, first of all, can you imagine having to go to the engineer and say, yeah, we need you to arrange some environmentally friendly pink or blue smoke that won't get us into trouble in the cruise port when we do this, and make this at a certain time, at a certain day, on a certain hour for this party on board. Also, can you imagine the people on shore when this happens, how they would freak out? Oh, we saw pink smoke coming from the cruise ships, and the environmentalists would be all over them. And so, no, they can't do something like that. And so it got me to thinking of some of the other stories that the captains and the cruise lines have been asked to do. One of them seems like an innocent thing, but if you think about the problems that it could arise, one lady contacted the captain directly and said, look, we love your production shows on the cruise ships. And I was wondering, when we're on the cruise in such and such a month, if my 6-year-old daughter can dance in the numbers on board. I think it would be a great thing as we're trying to get her interested in dancing. That's right. Get her interested in dancing. And would it be okay if she joined the professional dance troupe on board during the performances? First of all, aw, cute, right? Oh, it would be really cute. But that's only if it's a planned thing. And I don't think the dancers and everything are going to do choreography for a dancer who's never danced, really, not a professional, and never done the numbers before. And think of the problems that can happen. On a cruise ship is more dangerous dancing than on land. The stage is always moving. And so, yeah, they had to deny, but they contacted the captain directly and asked this request. That takes some gumption, I'll tell you. That takes some gumption. Speaking of gumption, there was a band that gets together, and they are, they sometimes go and they're kind of a club. And many of the members actually perform professionally, although not as a band altogether. There's about 50 members of this group. And they requested that, they be allowed to bring their musical instruments on board. And when they were asked about, well, what do you intend to do with your musical instruments? They said, oh, we want to, walk around on the deck and play our instruments, and we want to be able to, play them in port and things like that. And then they found out, well, first of all, that's probably not going to happen, right? Is it guitars? Is it, flutes? What is it? It's bagpipes. It was a bagpipe group that was going to be on board, and they wanted to bring their bagpipes on and play whenever they wanted to, at the spur of the moment. Now, can you imagine relaxing by the pool deck on your Caribbean vacation and just sitting there relaxing under the sun, and then somebody just starts playing the bagpipes beside you. That might be fun for an hour, but it would not be fun for the entire cruise unless you booked into that kind of cruise, right? I booked a bagpipe cruise. Then it's a different story. A Highland cruise. Then it's a different story. But to just have random people, whenever they decided to do it, playing the bagpipes around? Yeah, no, don't think that's going to happen neither. Another great group that wanted to board the cruise ship in a little bit of a different way. They said, we were wondering if we could board the ship and not have, do our pre-customs, whatever we need to do, but then board the ship the way we want to board the ship. And the cruise line was kind of curious about this, saying, well, maybe, what are you planning to do? Well, they wanted to have 30 skydivers skydive onto the deck of the cruise ship as it was leaving port. How many problems do you think this arises? First of all, customs and immigration is not going to allow that to happen because you've gone through customs and then you leave again onto a plane and then jump onto a ship heading into international waters. Yeah, that's not a thing for smuggling at all, is it? So no. And then the dangers of having 30 different people out at sea trying to land on the deck of a cruise ship. Yeah, nothing could possibly go wrong, right? Nothing at all could possibly go wrong. So no, they were denied. They were denied. You're not allowed to do that. You're just absolutely not allowed to do that. And then another one that was kind of I would kind of wish I could do this sometimes, but they wanted to do it to an extreme. And I have many cameras here for when I'm filming. I have underwater cameras, I have 360 cameras, I have drone cameras for getting big, beautiful aerial shots that they've made almost impossible here in Canada to actually use anymore. But they had a group of photographers who fly drones, and they also were racers. They raced their drones. And they wanted to have a drone race around the cruise ship. They wanted to all bring their drones on board, set them off into the sea around the ship, and then have a race, so many laps around the ship. Well, obviously, they weren't able to do this. So many regulations would be broken. You're not allowed to fly drones near cruise ships to begin with without special permission. Having them race around the top deck with people around and, anything can happen. No, that was not going to happen as well. So many things that people have asked the captains or the cruise lines to do that just, might seem really good idea in your head and really cool idea in your head. But when you think it through, no, they're not going to allow you to skydive onto a cruise ship. No. They're not going to change the smoke coming from a funnel on the cruise ship so you can announce your gender reveal party for your child. And they're definitely not going to let 30 bagpipe people just wander around the cruise ship and play bagpipes. Although I would love to have seen the reaction of people sitting on the pool deck, and then all of a sudden, that would be the price, worth the price of admission just to see people's reaction.